After 4 years together, he came home one day and said, "I don't love you." I said, "What do you mean? How long has this been going on?" And his reply was, "For over a year." It didn't make sense to me. I said, "But we've only been engaged for 8 months." And he said, "Yeah, I thought it would help, but it didn't."
My heartache began this past fall. I was with a person for 12 years of my life who decided that out of nowhere, they were just going to live a life of their own without having a conversation with me.
I went to visit this person. We didn't live in the same city. And I was there, and it was like I couldn't catch the time of day from him. He just did not want to make time. And I was like, I traveled all this way, and I can't understand why you don't want to at least just hang out. You know, we're not getting married, but we definitely made our feelings for each other very vocal. I thought, this is where we're at. And that was the moment where he said back to me, "Oh, I mean, I didn't know you were really serious about all that stuff. I didn't think it was like that." And that was a moment where you know that your heart just shatters.
One day, I'd said to Julie, "Are you ready to walk home?" And she said to me, "Ian, I can't walk home with you anymore." And I'd said to her, "Why?" And she said, "Well, my neighbors saw me kiss you, and my dad got mad because he doesn't think I should be kissing a black boy."
My heartbreak story isn't cinematic. It's quite simple, really, but managed to destroy me in ways I'm still recovering from. Our connection was nothing short of magic. We knew each other through mutual friends for over a decade, and he finally expressed his feelings for me at a huge welcome home party he'd thrown in my honor, inviting all of our friends and some family, a grandiose gesture from someone I had always had a little crush on. Swoon. We lived in 2 different cities but made it work via hours of FaceTime, hopping on flights to see each other, and traveling together. While it wasn't my longest relationship, it was the most in love I have ever felt, and I began considering things I've never had much interest in, like kids, a family, and moving cities. That was until he changed his mind about me and ended it all in a text. Heartbreak didn't even begin to describe it. I began my quest for the cure for heartbreak by talking to a handful of folks who were willing to share their stories. After careful comparison, I started noticing a theme.
When you were honest, despite the history of the relationship being super questionable, you'd hope that if you just put forth like enough honesty, it cancels out the bad.
I found out that he was dating the woman who had the office across the hall from him. We worked in the same place. We lived in the same small town. I was not planning on a breakup and didn't have a plan, but he did. He knew what house he was going to buy, he knew which province he was moving to, and he even had a job lined up.
The we conversation became a me conversation. All these decisions that were made for quote-unquote us was actually a decision made for them, because you cannot have an us decision if only one person is making the choices.
It was long distance. He got abusive near the end. You know, you just fight these like crazy things, you know. Oh, I'll just send him a text, or oh, I'll just show up. I'll like buy a ticket and just fly and show up at, you know, like those things that happen in movies when people are meant to be together. I just didn't think it was completely over when it was definitely over.
The crux of heartbreak is simply unmet expectations. One person is wildly in love while the other person has experienced a change of heart. The French writer Marcel Proust famously said, "It is our imagination that is responsible for love, not the other person." I began to wonder, are we to blame for our own heartbreak? I turned to Biet Simkin, an artist and spiritual teacher based in New York City.
It really comes down to a paradigm shift, which is that if you're out there looking for someone to be like your everything, like God, basically, you're going to find someone and then they're going to disappoint you. The thing that I really help people with, and the thing that's really helped me on my own journey, is being very simple about what I'm receiving as information. So if someone doesn't want to be with me, then calling a spade releases that trauma. I help people to see this, like, what are your terms? Like, what are you looking for? It would be like if you had a you know, a job and they were paying you like $80,000, but you wanted to get paid $140,000 a year, you know? Like, would you quit and find a different job? That's just not, if that's not your pay bracket, you know?
Yeah.
It's super simple.
What are strategies you would recommend for the heartbroken, and what have you seen work for people?
I think, you know, recognizing that the sun doesn't rise or set with whether this person loves you or not. I think the most important thing that people need to remember about relationships is that if you try to have a relationship with a person, you will always fail. So you need to have one relationship, and that relationship needs to be with something invisible, your inner world. Some people call it God, divine energy, universe, whatever you want to call it. But it's something that's infinite, it's unending, it doesn't expire, it doesn't have a beginning or an end. It's yours, and it's always there. And if you have that relationship, everything else can be kind of, an extension of that.
The idea of finding all of the love you need within yourself may be easier said than done. I consulted Brooklyn-based psychotherapist Sylvie Borovkova to talk about strategies she suggests to her patients during the roughest of times.
Therapy can help a lot of clients just kind of deal with healing and getting over the pain of disappointment and betrayal a lot of times. If you happen to have a broken leg, you know, if you set it correctly, it will heal itself, right? But it definitely heals faster if you see a doctor and you get help and you get checkups to make sure that everything is healing in the proper way. So with therapy, it's very similar. If you just seek help, it goes faster. Every heartbreak and every pain that we experience is a learning opportunity. It is avoidable. However, the price we pay for avoiding pain and avoiding heartbreak is isolation. If the ultimate goal is to experience life to its fullest and live up to your full potential, heartbreak is kind of is a necessary part of it, because it teaches us the boundaries, and it teaches us the red flags, and it teaches us also where we need to take care of ourselves more and where our vulnerable spots are.
In my quest for the cure to heartbreak, I'd hoped to find the magic potion. But as is the case of the common cold, the only fix for heartbreak is to let it ride its course, with plenty of self-care along the way. The one nugget of hope is our ability to recover from both, with plenty of Kleenex, of course.